What's going on, fellas? This is July 16th, Work Hard Wednesday. Me, Mick S. He's a guest appearance, Skeller. Uh, but hey, we out here though. Some of the things I want to go over is right now we're in the process of our seventh production run and getting everything together. So it's been pretty hectic over here. Just making sure that all of our vendors, I mean, pretty much the majority of them are ready to go, and we can make it by August 5th as far as getting everything here. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the labels. I'm talking to two different companies to see what we can do. One of them is located in New York. They're called Overnight Labels, and they actually don't do digital. They do plates, but this is the thing with them. Their plates are a lot cheaper than the Fort Dearborn Company. Their pricing is 200. The Fort Dearborn Company, and this Overnight Labels is actually $75 a plate. It's a lot cheaper. So that right there, I'm trying to figure out. They needed an illustrated format. We didn't need to do any of that. The Fort Dearborn Company just went to the press with what we sent them with the layout, lay flat, and everything. So I haven't heard nothing back from them. I'm also working with our closure vendor, and he has a connection with labels that a company based in Utah, which is a lot closer, so it might be cheaper because the facilities that we work with right now are based in Illinois for the Fort Dearborn Company. So we'll see. He said he'll have me a quote by hopefully tomorrow or Friday at the latest, and depending on their lead times, if things work out for us, and I definitely want to pursue that because I'm just kind of annoyed or with the Fort Dearborn Company. I sent them an email probably like 2 weeks ago, just inquiring about, hey, if I were to order this amount, could you get it here by then? And I didn't even get no response from any of them. So that's just pissing me off with this lack of communication on their end. And I'm definitely, and then obviously we're looking for to cut our cost of goods, and if we can do that, definitely going to pursue it, especially with the trays right now. The vendor that we have, they're charging 96 cents per tray. That is uh, Container Consulting Services based in Gilroy. So we're trying to work with this other company called Tharco, and they're a lot. I mean, I'm talking about a lot cheaper. For 3,000 trays, their pricing was 26 cents for a tray. So that's tremendous. I mean, we figure what we were paying for these trays, and we didn't even order that many, and the amount, as far as is the cost for that amount, that's pretty high, 96 cents. So that in turn, we get our cases, our cost of goods will get knocked down, and then our profits will go up, and that's what we're looking for. Any way to get that number down to what we looked at from the gate, which is 1103, 1104. If we can get it in that range, we're going to be doing really, really well as far as sales and profit margins. Here goes the thing. This is for tonight. It's Work Hard Wednesday, and for the most part, we don't even have a lot of inventory. I think we got like 65 cases in the garage. How much you got? Probably less than 30, something like that.
I can go check.
It's somewhere around there, right?
I think it's around about 30,
Yeah,
maybe a little less.
deliveries today. So I mean, pretty much 90 cases on hand to service 107 accounts and whatnot, and we're kind of holding on that for about 3 weeks. We're in better shape than we were last time around when when we were really struggling. We took care of our big players, which is Shell and Rogers. They're done. They're taken care of. The next up to bat would be Food Corral. They're going to be coming around either the end of this week or next week. 17 cases. Other than that, it's pretty much the smaller accounts that we're that we're gonna. I think we'll be okay. I mean, a lot better shape, like I said, than last time, where we were really trying to hold off with 3 weeks to go. And so, hey, here goes the thing with why I said this was an important meeting tonight, and the fact of the matter is, we want to do some real big things in year 2. We're pretty much going into a month come the 21st, a year and a month as far as sales is concerned. And the objective is to make connections. It's to network. It's to find these players that we feel could be a valuable asset. And if we do, obviously we run it back to the table. So what I want to run to you guys and is the fact that I talked to this guy. His name is Taio Tadao. Some of his emails are different, so I'm just going to go by the one that is listed as Taio Salima. And I had a conversation with him. He asked me some questions that I felt he asked me a lot of questions just about the business and how we're doing on our end. And let me just run it down. The reason I reached out to him is because, one, I wanted to know who his distribution connection was. I wanted to send product to him so that he can pass it along to his connection. The thing was, if you guys replay it back, he had sent me an email saying, I got this connection, send some product, and I never got a response back from him about who do I send it to. So I said, you know what, I was watching this thing yesterday, and it said it's about opportunities. You got to take advantage of these opportunities because opportunities present exposure. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose the brand in a major way. So I said, you know what, let me just reach out to him again, see what he's talking about. So I put that in the email. The second thing was, I said, you know what, I know you got a lot of celebrity connections, and I don't know, how this works personally. If you guys got contractual agreements where you can't do this, which is pass the product along and snap a couple pictures, but if you can, I was raised on the belief that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so I'm just asking if you can do us a huge favor in that sense. I mean, snapping a few pictures is not, to be honest, is nothing. But people use that as leverage, use connections as leverage, and hey, it's understandable. If you got a connection that first and foremost, a relationship is above everything. And if you're, trying to keep that thing going, obviously you're going to respect whoever that person is. So he reached back out to me. Yeah, let's talk. So we talked today. Conversation goes like this. I asked him, I said, you know what, this is where we're at right now, 107 accounts in 12 months. What we've been able to do as far as move product, we moved over 46,000 units respectively, over 3,800 cases respectively in this amount of time. And we look to even do bigger things and greater things. Now, I don't know how you fit into this whole scheme of things, but we would definitely like to explore some things as far as your connections, your network, and really try. All we want was pictures. This thing, and here goes his thing, because this dude is. I mean, this is what he says. We definitely want to do some more research, but I've heard from other parties as well that this guy has an extensive network. With that network, it could. Here goes what the network means as far as us trying to build a brand. It's who's drinking it, right? We talked about people who are followers. We want to see who's drinking what. or who's wearing what, and then they follow suit. One of his closest pals is, for all those that don't know, Fez Wilmer Valderrama. That's one of his. They're like brothers. They start. He started security for him when he was doing the '70s show and the whole '70s show cast and crew. And he was connected to them, and then they just built their relationship, and now they're practically, from what he says, they're brothers. That's light. That's light. Now he got connections to everyone. Troy Polamalu, he's going to be doing some things, putting together this whole little thing for when Troy goes to Samoa, and he said that he was going to give me Troy's address so that we can send him product. That's nothing right there for him. He said that he wants to take some product with him to Hawaii because there's this big show or whatever going down. His wife is actually one of the key players in the Hawaii Five-0, the new series. I don't know if you guys ever seen it or whatnot, but she's involved with that, and he's gonna send me that address. So we're gonna have to, send some product out to Hawaii. We'll try to figure it out by next week Thursday, because that's when that I guess it's gonna be going down sometime next weekend as far as this event. And I said, you know what? From us, yeah, we'll do that. That's nothing. We just, like we said, we just want the pictures. One of the guys that is going to be coming into Frisco, and that we know that has supported us by just taking a snapshot and loves the product. What's his name? Yeah, Tanawai Reed. He's connected to him as well, and they're gonna be out tonight or whatever he told me. But this is just Polynesian. I mean, he has so much other network that could really be huge for us. Now, I asked him something. I told him, I said, man, so what are you looking for in this whole thing? And his rundown was, I've been, I try to do good for a lot of people, and it end up biting me in the rear. So I just want to make sure that I put myself in the best position where, at the end of the day, I don't get burnt again. I expressed who we are, what we believe, what our company stands for, and we understand that it's hard for anybody to take that leap of faith and trust, because there's so many people trying to get over on people. But at the end of the day, we're out for what we seek. We're not seeking the dollar bill. We're seeking information. Now, you may have a little bit more information because of his connections within distribution. The person that was able to structure out that deal for Samoa Water to be in the position that they're in right now in Vegas, where they're sold in every hotel and they're really doing pretty well out there, was one of his partners. One of his good buddies that he says he goes to Vegas all the time to just fuck around. And that's why they're there. Now, the people that try to do the things in California didn't work out so well, and that's why I don't even know if Samoa Water is in California, to be honest. I haven't. Obviously, it's nowhere up here this way, but I don't know if it's even down there in SoCal. But that's another story. So what he offers is connections, right? He offers connections, network, and pretty much that was like the sum of it. I really didn't go into much, but I asked him this. So if we're not in a position to pay you a salary, what are you looking for in this whole scheme of things? And he threw out this number, 10%. He said 10% equity in a company because of what he can do. As far as he got this other marketing company, it's on the low right now, but he's really trying to figure out the way to bring Polynesian to the mainstream, Polynesian culture to the mainstream, and market that, and he's working on that. But that's really all he has. I went and did some research, and I said, I was saying, what is it as far as startups? What is the appropriate number, or to give as far as equity. We really don't want to give up too much equity in the beginning, which is where we're at right now. 10%, it seems like a lot, and it is a lot in the whole scheme of things. When you think about 10% of whatever we sell, when the liquidity event comes and the big dogs come and say we want to buy your company for 300, 400 million, whatever the case may be, that 10%, obviously, if we give up that equity based on what he has, which is those connections, is it worth it? Now, I told him I was going to come to you guys and I was going to get a whole list of what we felt was an exchange of value. Meaning that, okay, if you want 10% equity, you're going to have to give up some things. I'm looking at 100K, at least 100K. 100K as far as investment-wise. I'm looking at, okay, you say you got the connections and whatnot. It's going to take money to make money. You better understand that once you jump in this boat, we ain't just going to give him no 10% equity. Nah, it doesn't work like that. And I know he understands that, but that's my main thing is the money, it will last us a couple production runs. That's it. But what comes after that, which is a valuable lesson that I learned from Vikings when Ragnar Lothbrok, he could have chose the gold and whatever, but he chose the person. He said, I want him. And they were tripping. Why? And they didn't know what was on his mind. His mind was like, yeah, the gold, that will run out. But this guy, he already seen lands that none of y'all have ever seen. And I want to see these lands because there's more wealth in finding out new world, basically what was considered new worlds to them, new territory, new people, understanding how things operate in these foreign settings. And that's what I'm looking at. At the end of the day, okay, if you have the connections that you say you have, first we want to we definitely, you're going to have to invest. Secondly, you bring on that line, what are we going to do with it? Because, okay, you can have the connections, but what is the plan beyond that? What he expressed was, you know what, in good faith, I'm going to start doing my part, which is networking, getting the product out, exposure to his connections and whatnot, getting the pictures, and that's all fine and dandy. But like I said, a picture can only do so much. We're trying to do more than pictures. We're trying to blow this thing up. And so that's why I told you guys come prepared as far as I want to know what you guys think. One conversation can't do it. It's not going to do it. And I really want S to talk to him personally because they got more in common. They're in security. So that right there alone is like, S could get a better feel for who this guy is, and just because of that background and that experience in that particular industry. For me personally, I always want to give the people the benefit of the doubt, and if I've heard already good things about this person, that's even more icing on the cake. But at the end of the day, this circle right here is either, what it all comes down to. I would not force my hand if my players, my team around me is not ready to do that. And especially at 10%. 10% is a lot. And I really feel that you're going to have to be coming out the pocket at least 100 to 250K, real deal. Because they're $1 million off top, that's $100,000 for it. Yeah. So this is the importance of tonight. I really want to get to see what you guys think about it, and then really go from there. Some of the things that you guys want me to ask him, or because I really want to have a real meeting with all of us, if necessary. If you guys feel that hey man, if this is the move that we should make, it only makes sense that we all are sitting down because, for one, we've been in this ship running this thing, and to add another player that could bring value, it wouldn't make sense for only one of us to talk to him. it would make more sense if we had a consensus, a group of all of us sitting down, hearing him, feeling his vibe, whatever the case may be. But I would rather have that and to go to the bank with, rather than me just saying, you know what, I talked to my brothers and this and that, and let's do it. I know some decisions have to be made that way, but this is a huge decision. And for one, I mean, I know personally that um, I know personally what connections can do. We all do. We all do. We all know what connections can do, because we've all experienced some way, shape, or form where we were in a tight situation, and then that connection got us out of it. But this right here, as far as business, we gotta make sure that we make the right decision, and then once we do make that decision, everything that's to come has got to be activated. Like all our plans, everything that we put down in PowerPoints, the vision, those things have to be executed to the T, because of what's going to come with the value of adding a potential player that can help us propel this company to heights that we believe and we know that it's capable of doing. So, like I said, man, things that I look for is expertise, obviously. Money, you're definitely going to have to invest. Connections, obviously. Those are the top three. Those are the easy things that I could just throw out there, and I threw out there already through the text. But from hearing everything that I said to you guys, as far as a conversation that I had with this guy, at the end of the day, he 37 years old. Here goes a little bit of background. 37 years old. He started his journey in '93, I believe, as far as security. Really got into it about '98. Real tough, and started making these moves. His whole journey in life is that I guess he went to Samoa, and somebody told him, your blessings, basically, you're blessed to be a blessing. So he's 37 years old, no kids, no family, and he says to himself all the time, man, I just want to go settle down on an island and have a family, but I feel that I wouldn't be living up to what was thrown at me. I'm blessed to be a blessing, which is opening doors and helping entrepreneurs, especially Polynesian entrepreneurs, to achieve their dreams and get to where they're going. Now, that's something powerful. I mean, we all feel like we're blessed to be a blessing, and that's his personal mission to do that. And if he were to go settle down and have a family, he feel like he wouldn't have lived his life and lived his life as far as being the best version of himself. In our way of saying things, are being the best asset to not only the community but this world. So, like I said, man, that's just a little bit about him, and our little conversation probably talked about 30 minutes to an hour, and I told him straight up, I said, man, you know what, we're still infants in this thing. We're learning. The things that we've accomplished so far, it's pure effort, grit, determination, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're about. Now we know that if we were able to accomplish 100K in sales, it took us a year, 2 weeks, and what'd you say, a year, 3 weeks. A year and 3 weeks to accomplish 100K in sales. I said, you know what that's gonna do in turn for us personally? Now that we know we can achieve that in a year, this is what we're saying to ourselves. Okay, if this was 90% of this generated sales came from retailer outlets, direct to consumers was a small portion of that. So you're saying, okay, if we can do at least, if we can get that same sales generated from retailers, which we're in 6 months, we're way past what we did in 6 months of our first, from June to December last year in the retail category. And why? Obviously, we got more accounts. But still, those active accounts that are reordering is causing those great gains in that stream of revenue. Now, if we can I shouldn't say if, when we open up this door to online, and get that direct to consumer sales, that is easily going to propel us over 200K, 300K, 400K, even half a mil. That is easily just opening up that door. You know why? Because there's so many people that don't even live in these respective areas that want to try this product out. And once we start hitting this SEO and really getting in these people's faces with advertising on Google, through a website, through other people's websites, third parties, and whatnot, and we really hit that's what's going to happen. And the demand is going to be so crazy that we're not going to have enough, which is a good thing. The demand is going to outweigh the supply, and that's already been happening to us already. We've been running low on all our production runs. It takes us to the last minute, but still, there's so many people out there that still want this product, and we just can't get it to them fast enough. And so, think about those things. Think about, you guys that weren't here on Friday. This is what I wanted to, last week. I wanted to bring this up to you guys, and this plays into this as well. But the business consultant thing, that guy Steve MacArthur, and everything that he had expressed and wanted to do. Here goes the thing: he didn't even call me back last week. The whole week, he never called me back, and I was wondering why. I was out in Carson City, and so my thing is, obviously, it was a reason. I wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of before I made the decision. Okay, I'm gonna go to this trip and this vacation, and I did that. So I said, okay, what's the reason? The reason, obviously, is to gain understanding, gain wisdom, gain insight, gain knowledge from a person that's from Jim and Rose that have they're entrepreneurs. They did their thing. They built their company up to where they were generating $2 million in sales yearly, easily. This was in his latter part of life. 40 is when he started his journey. It took him 10 years. Okay, 5 years to pay off everything that he had gotten loaned to him, and then another 5 years just to figure things out. Like, oh damn, this is how you make money. So it took him 10 years to figure out just how to make money. He's already 50 years old. Now 50 years old comes, now he's, the money is coming in, $2 million plus a year. And then he opens up the gate to, let me just create, I got this idea, let me create this gutter. And that's when he likes to call the money spigots really started to go for him. And so the reason why I'm telling you guys this, because I want you to understand that it's always good for us to look at these people that have already done it, and like we know, go ask some questions. I asked Jim personally, I said, you know what, Jim, did you ever have a business consultant? He said, no, for what? And I said, huh? He said, for what? I mean, I knew where I was going. I knew where I was headed. I don't need another person to tell me, hey, man, you're going on the right track. Here, just add this or do this. Because it's the same shit I already know. I knew that I just had to keep my head down and keep on marching towards what I seen. I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. He said, here goes the thing, Boog, when you think about what you guys are doing, what you guys accomplished so far, there's going to be people coming in and knocking on your door. And you just got to be careful. You got to be smart about the decisions you make, because those people, they want a piece of what you got going on. They see the potential. And they say, oh, how can I capitalize, or how can I get in on this? That's what they're thinking about. So trust your brothers, trust your family. Those are the two most important things, because you guys have been in the trenches together. So wow, okay, that's some good advice. So I said, what is this? I said, the reason I asked is because this guy was talking about, we had a good conversation and whatnot, and he said, he can help me get to 300 to 400K from what we made. We made 100K this year. He can help us do that. And he said, and he only wanted 3% of gross profits. He said, wow, no, don't do it. I said, what? He said, yeah, don't do it. You know why? Don't, nothing off the top. If he really was trying to help you or whatnot, he would want 3% of the net profits, not the gross, because after everything, all the expenses are incurred. That guy right there that's trying to help you, he'd say, okay, let me take some of this, not everything off the top. I said, wow, that makes total sense. You know, why are you trying to get a piece of that when you know, we're just starting up? That thought into mind, and I said, okay. And then I started thinking. I started thinking about what we've been able to do. And just like I mentioned before, previously, if we did 100K by ourselves and we only had one stream, we were on pretty much that retailer stream, but we already have the plan of what we want to do. Why would we need to bring someone in, you know, to tell us what we already know we're doing? Where we know where we're headed. We know that we got to pick up direct-to-consumer sales. We know we got to open an online store because of the people that want this product, and they're not in these areas. We know that if we add other items to this thing, which is apparel and, you know, whatever else, we know that those numbers will easily get to 300, 400K easily. We already laid the foundation. We're already on the path that we're headed on. He said, why would you need somebody else to just come in and just tell you the same thing over? Now, he said, I'm not trying to tell you, you're going to have to make a decision for yourself, but I'm just trying to put things in perspective that you guys are already on a path. Now, if you didn't have any direction, if you didn't have any guidance or a plan, then I would say, you know what, bring them in, implement it. But look at what you guys have done. You've done such great things in a short amount of time that you know where you're headed. And if you didn't have your head on right, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and do it. But you guys do. So don't even. He said, you know, his best. He said it himself. He said, man, you know personally what you're gonna have to do and make this decision. But that's my suggestion. Just keep on doing what you're doing, because you're already on that track. And I prayed about it, I thought about it, and it made perfect sense. And that's why it's always good to have somebody like Jim or Rose, or somebody that's an entrepreneur that has made it already, because they can give you advice that if we didn't have that, we probably would have proceeded forward with Steve. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy or trying to get over on us, but I'm just saying, what Jim says, I'm going to take his word for what it's worth, because I have a relationship with him and he's already done what we're trying to do. And look at where it's got him. And that's why I would take his word to the bank over anybody else. And I really want it, because he already knows, we all know, hey, life is certain. Death is certain. He's on his last leg. He's in his 70s. And that day is going to come calling. So I just will pull out everything that he can offer me, which is that wisdom, that insight, that knowledge, understanding of business, and not only that, but life in general. I might as well pull all of that, because once it's gone, it's gone. It's not coming back no more. And that's what I took from the vacation, from going out there to speaking with him. If there was any reason that I was looking forward to going out there, it was for that purpose alone, to give me what I need, so I can say, okay, this is the decision that we're going to make. And the decision that was made is we're going to pass on that. We're going to say no to that, and we're going to say, okay, we already know what we got going on. Let's move in and continue to move in our direction, because the one who's leading us, obviously, if it was a choice that had to be made and he was one of those players to get implemented into this, God would have told us. He would have said, you know what, let's do it. Go do it. I told you to do it. I feel confident that when God tells me to do something, I know what I have to do. And if I was shaky and all that, and I didn't know when he wanted me to pull the trigger or whatnot, then it would be a different story. But the way I see it is, he's going to tell, if I'm not hearing him clearly enough, he's going to send it through somebody else. And Jim was that person that he sent it through. And so that's my decision, final decision. I wanted to bring that to the table to let you guys know that's one person. And then now with this new person that we're talking about, 10% equity, that's what he's looking for. What do you guys feel is is valuable as far as if we were to give that up? What are we looking for in exchange? And go ahead, anyone can jump in there. I'm going to be writing this stuff down because I definitely want to make sure I got it all.
I think those are like the top three things that you named already. As as far as money, uh, network, its connections, like basically those three things are the thing. But I think it's a lot of it. I think most of it, like something in that needs to be like like a guarantee for sure. Like as far as like or money wise, like 100 grand invested into it, because if you look at it like you said, 10%, it may not be a lot, but it's a lot. Like, and if we were to make it happen with him, like we need some guarantee that he can bring back to the table for sure, like that will help us grow, like really legitimately grow, like because his guarantee is 10%. If we do lock the deal in, that's guaranteed right there, 10%, and that's a lot of money. Like just like I brought it up, like $1 million, 10% of $1 million is 100 grand. And so if he's gonna get that much equity or whatever, I think there's gonna have to be like some. I mean, like his connections. As far as with his connections, it's gonna have to be some guarantee with anything that he's bringing forward, because I don't know, it just seems like that's a big come up for somebody that is going to introduce us probably to somebody that we can probably get introduced to on a free scale, or just by us like knowing people and us going out there and just you know communicating with networking with other people that could have these same connections. But it could be like, like the Tanner Reed. Like, I mean, us building a relationship with him to get to the Rock, we could cancel out that right there. Like, that just cancel out any kind of equity or whatever. It's because we built a relationship with him and got closer to him. So, I don't know. I just think something needs to be like a stamp for sure, guarantee that something's going to take off. Like, really, because, I mean, it's like he could bring us or invest 100 grand into us, but then what? Like, what's our next move as far as growing wise? Like, how?
And this is in regards to the dude Tadal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I took a look on his little Instagram page today. I mean, he does. I mean, the guy he's with, fucking Fez, that's a big time dude, and he has a real good, relationship with him.
Nice having you, Sean.
I mean, just like Mick said, 10% is a lot, man. That's a lot. 10%. I mean, think about it when, we expect to sell this company for $100 million. You know what I mean? And if we give him that 10%, what is that? 10 like. Out of $100 million, that's like $10 million, right? But I just like Mick say, I agree with Mick, man. Whatever we do with this guy, whatever he does, we do decide to do, we do have to get him to sign something that this shit is guaranteed. Like, okay, I'm guaranteed that I'm gonna put it into, this person's hands. I'm gonna guarantee you I can get it into this guy's hands. I mean, but
I think a guarantee would be like, I can guarantee you $500,000, like whatever he has a goal set of a number that he can generate through his connections or whatever. I think that could be like something that can bring it to the table. Like, I don't know, through my connections, I can guarantee you $1 million in sales in a year. Something like this is.
I mean, if you look at it like this, like say we do give him that 10% in exchange for money, you know what I mean? The money will be able to help us, possibly for all of us to quit our day jobs to do this 100%. and build it a lot more than we're building it right now, with only us putting 10% in and Boog doing most of the stuff right now. And then if you think about it, the connection wise, you know, we know if we can get it Boost Juice into the hands of somebody big, we already know, you know what I mean, there's that possibility that this shit can just explode, you know what I mean, by getting into that one, whoever he said he had connections with, you know what I mean. I mean, say Wilder Valdemara, say Fez takes a picture with a bottle, you know what I mean, that shit could blow up. It's just going to lead more people our way. But then if they see it with him in his hand, you know what I mean, with him, with Fez, if he has it in his hand, you know, taking pictures and shit, then I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen with this, you know what I mean? But just like Mick said, whatever we do, man, I think we do have to get some kind of guarantee from him that he is going to do this. You know what I mean? He is going to get us these connections. He is going to put it into these people's hands. When it comes to, I like the connections better, you know what I mean, instead of the money. But you think he would go down to, like, shit, less percentage or something like that? Or was that just the number he put out there, 10%?
Yeah, that's what he put out there, and I try to understand. I said in the whole scheme of things, like you said, 10%, it's minimal, but at the same time, it's a lot of equity. What is the significance of 10%? What does that mean to you? And he said to himself, like, man, I mean, his thing was he helped a lot of people out and got burned. But who hasn't helped a lot of people out and got burned? At the same time, it was really, you made a bad call. You made a bad decision. And you have to live with that. Now, if you think, in my whole thinking, I'm thinking like this, okay, it means protection for him as far as, man, 10% is a lot. Just like you said, if we're going to sell this company, when we get to that opportunity, 100 to 300 million, and this guy's getting 10%, oh, shit. That's a lot. Now he can go live on the island and have a family and whatnot. That's his whole dream. And I know he sees that shit. I mean, because I don't think he would even go that far if he didn't really have a belief that, damn, this thing could really hit. It could really hit, because not only does it taste great, but damn, look at what they've been able to do just in the little areas that they're in. We're in fucking Monterey to the Bay, and we got 107 accounts that raked us in 100K. Now, look at this. What I also forgot to mention is, okay, we went after 100 accounts. Now we finna go after another 100 accounts. That equals 200K, right? Well, if we get this thing crank, like how we did it, like everything the steps that we've taken to build it up to this point right now, we continue to march, attack, and do what we need to do. That's 200K. We got the online store going. Look at that right there. That's what I said. We're on the right track. We're on the right path, and just opening up these revenues is going to propel us. But that's what he was looking for, the security, knowing that, okay, man, I'm going to put my full time and effort into this. I want something that is going to be worth it for me in the end. I got all these connections. I really could tap into them and then put myself in a position where at the end of the day, we fucking did it, and I'm cool. And that's pretty much the feel that I got with that 10% meant to him. Now, obviously, everyone's gonna start high, and you're gonna say things that you're most comfortable with. Oh yeah, 10%. That sounds right. That sounds legit. But this is how, if 10% is too much, then we say something smaller. Like, hey man, we're not willing to give up 10%, but even at 2 to 3%, even at 4%, because we really don't. Depending on what he's willing to put up. I mean, if he's willing to put up some real legit bread, we're talking about what we need, then we can say, okay, you're a legitimate investor. But if he doesn't have that, there's no way we're going to give him 10%. Now, his connections alone, yeah, that's a lot of value, but at the same time, connections could be a dud as well. Yeah, we could post pictures on our Instagram, but yeah, we only got 5,000 followers. Yeah, we can post it on Facebook, but yet there's still the whole world that's out there that don't even follow us, that don't even know about us. So really, those connections, they mean something in a sense, but at the end of the day, if there isn't mass advertising, there isn't mass marketing, those connections are duds. It doesn't even matter. None of that, it really doesn't. Now, what I'm looking for really is the distribution connection. And in exchange, like that's why I'm telling him, like, man, if now I kind of get a feel of where he was trying to come from, because when I asked him, hey, who's the connection? Let me send it to his address, and he didn't give that up, and he said a lot of people just use him to get to his connections. Now I understand, like, oh, okay, he probably thought I was using him to get to his connection, which I am. I mean, shit, if you got a partner in distribution and we're trying to do something, why not? I mean, why you just holding on to it? I mean, yeah, I know you want to get a slice of the pie too, but I mean, at the end of the day, when we speak to him and when we talk to him again, and we get a good feel of what he thinks of this company and what he really feels that his role could be in this thing, and we all say, oh, damn, this is a player we could use, and we say, let's do it. Then we move forward. But if we don't get that feeling, and it just does come down to, oh, you know what, hey, man, this is what it is, and it doesn't work for what we got, our vision, obviously we turn that down. But some of the things that he brought up, he said, in good faith, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to, shop it, or throw it out there to my peoples. Just let them taste it. Let them taste it. Get some pictures. Do all those things. That's, in all honesty, it's not really even that much. But he has the upper hand. He has the leverage where, these people are in the light, in the limelight, and I'm gonna use that to get what I need. That's how this world works, and we just got to be smart about the decisions that we make. Now, I'm not, not willing to give up 10% out the gate. No way. But at the same time, if it does bring value and it makes sense, then we definitely gotta pursue it, and look into it as best as we can to get us to that next level. A lot of things that I've read about giving up equity is you don't want to give up too much in the beginning, because when you're needing that next round of funding, now if you done gave up all your equity, 10%, look at 10%, that leaves us at 90%. Now we going into the next round of funding, and we're saying to ourselves, damn, these niggas want 20 to 33%. Oh, shit. Well, that's already 40% out the gate. If we give it 43%, now it cuts down our equity as far as being owner. Yeah, we're still majority owner, but look, the next round of funding comes, and we're saying to yourself, oh, damn, I can't even give up that much more equity, because once again, now I'm the low man on the totem pole. I done gave up all my equity. I don't have nothing to show for it. And that's the thing where we don't want to do, and we're not going to do. We're smart enough to know that, and what we want to do for our company is we want to put it in the best position to succeed. And that's why it does come down to these conversations and these meetings, to really understand, okay, my brothers feel a certain way, I feel a certain way. That's why we make decisions. If we're not all on the same page, obviously some of the decisions don't happen, or they don't get made. A yes turns into no that quick, because we all know what we want for this company and what we see. And that's what I want you guys to understand when we make crucial decisions like this, or we're thinking about making crucial decisions like this. It really comes down to voicing everything that's on your mind, what's in your heart, what's the feeling that you're getting from this. That's because all of that really matters, and why we've made it this far.
Yeah, on my behalf, when it comes down to it, everything that was said is very valid. One of the things that you said earlier on is that it's not going to be a one meeting decision. We definitely need to sit down and explore this thing a little bit more, just because, just the same way he feels, and he should, and I'm pretty sure would respect the fact that, hey, okay, you came at us in a business, stance, a business, in a business form, and we're shooting this business form right back at you, which we're protecting our business. When it comes down to what I feel, any equity given should entail is, look, we've watched Shark Tank many, many times, and those are lessons, and those are free keys that we can go back and tonight watch an episode, and we'll understand equity, we'll understand the worth of things a little bit more. But as far as the things that I look at it really is, what is his role in this? What does he bring to the table? But also, again, like we've already mentioned, what is he willing to do to help us get there? Because we can just give anybody, 10% for money, for whatever. But like you said, there's other rounds of investments. There's all these different things that come into play. Like, okay, if there's other rounds of investments, how long is this agreement? And if he's really serious, there would be definitely more attached to it, because it's obviously we're at the beginning. And if I've learned anything from Shark Tank and all that, is that connections and networks. Okay, everybody has connections and networks, but it still has to be the right fit. Why do you think some of these sharks team up with each other? It's because they both have different networks and connections that fare well for whatever product is produced, whatever product is trying to be sold. And so those are things that we definitely need to look at. One of the things that comes to mind is when you talk about connections and networks is that, okay, we take a picture, lots of people take a picture with Oosh Juice, but again, we got to continue to see that in front of them. They have to be continually spotted with Oosh Juice. Like, things like that have to happen before, one picture is not going to do anything really.
Nope.
Unless you get lucky and you get that one picture where, it goes viral, and then people are looking, like in those cases, hey man, that's lucky. That's being really lucky. But really, one picture with anybody, doesn't matter who it is, it's not going to do anything. What is going to do something is, again, the networks. Connections and networks are the same thing. The networks that are going to do something is things like you said, a distribution. Who do you know on a distribution network? We're not even looking. We're looking for networks and connections all the way around. Like, I'm not just going to make this decision because he knows a few celebrities or maybe a lot of celebrities. Because, again, it has to be seen over and over and over. So, when new people that we don't know, the target market that we're looking for is everybody pretty much. But with those new people, if they see it one time, most of them don't even trip off of it. They're more so in, thinking about the person in the photo. If it's not, if it's not like spoken about, or oh dang, my new favorite drink, Oosh Juice, stuff like that, people won't inquire about it. And so our part is to educate. And if we're bringing somebody on board, we need to educate them about our product. We need to educate them about what we're doing and where we're going and why. Obviously we'll keep, whatever information we don't need to, give, but really the crucial information of teaming up with us is getting the information about our product communicated properly. And that's the type of network that we need to be thinking about. Who are these key players that he knows that are decision makers that are able to, place our product or even sponsor, like things like that. Like, he needs to make it. I don't know if he needs to make an investment or, what, but that investment will definitely tell us how serious he is. And in the long run, we already talked about it. If we end up being $100, $300 million company, I'm looking at this thing as, like I said, the sharks do. If they're giving you, a lot of times when they want 10% of equity, so this is just like an example. You'll see that, I want 10% of equity, and I'll give you $100,000. Basically, what the shark is saying is that they're valuing this person's business at $1 million plus earning a year, and that's for that amount of money. Now, again, there's a lot of stipulations attached to that, but because these sharks are, again, they're sharks, they're not only going to invest, but they're also going to help back it by getting that network because they want to see the return on their money. And so, again, this is, if we learn anything from them, like, no, hell no, we're not going to give up 10% just for connections and networks. We'd be stupid, but we look at this thing in the grand scheme of things, and the way I see it as, I tell people, damn, we're a $1 billion company. Think about that. We're a $1 billion company, and hey, you might not see it, it might be far-fetched, but this is the possibility of what we could be. $1 billion companies, like these companies that got bought out because they had a big network, they had a far reach, their bandwidth was really, really big. Those companies right there got bought out for billions of dollars because of how far they can reach. And with our product, again, that's what we need to understand. With our product, we can reach many, many continents. Again, we're already some of our biggest followers and supporters are from New Zealand and Australia. Like, what? Australia? You know what I mean? You would think it would be like Hawaii or Samoa but people are just hearing about it. People are, getting excited about it, and that's the leverage that we have. All these meetings that we had, we talked about leverage, and this is where it comes into play. Like, we really have to believe in our product to the point where, hey, man, if I value our company at $1 billion company, yeah, that's tough to say right now. Do I value it at $1 billion right now? No. But in the long run, yes. And therefore, you're talking about, this is the questions we have to ask ourselves. How long? Because, if he wants to see a return on his money in how many, years, whatever time frame, then we also have to expect of him to deliver in certain areas as well. But if, you look at your company, say we are $1 million, $2 million company, and that does come with a $100,000, $200,000 tag, and whatever time frame. So those are the things that we got to look at, and definitely have to have another meeting and sit down and just be slow with it. I mean, take our time and really do all the exploration. The studying about the different. Who is it? Let's do some real research. Who is he really connected to? What is his role like with who he's connected to? Because that'll tell us a lot of things too. So I'll definitely, reach out to him, see what's up. We can set up another meeting, like I said, conference call or, hangout or whatever. But I think that would be smart to, weigh out the options. What we want on the table, I would say something around the lines of, monetary investment, and then plan of attack on his end. Okay, can we get a list of all the people and this is the thing is, he thinks that, oh, we just want the list of them, this and that. No, we just want to set a plan of who you attack, and based on what our product is about, based on who our target market is, like we want to direct you right away to them, because the faster we get to them, obviously the bigger this thing is going to blow up. And okay, he can know Wilmer Valderrama, but what is he about? Is he about health? Is that something that he enjoys? Is that something he's looking forward to? Is he a supporter of you and your wanting to bring some Samoan culture to the mainstream? Like, what is so special? What ties you guys together? Like, that'll tell us a lot more about the connections that he has, and it'll also help us to see if that's even even worth it for us. Because again, if he knows, okay, Lil Wayne, but what, Lil Wayne's a hip hop guy, he's You know, he don't pretty obviously don't care about his health. He's in and out of the hospital, sipping on that lean. But
I even seen the dude. I guess he looks like he has a connection with what's the girl's name? She pretty big, Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
And
See, like I said, it doesn't. When it comes down to connections, like it really doesn't matter who it is. It matters on what they're gonna do with it. Like,
yeah.
are they interested? You know, are they because of the story and how we told, how we told him the story and how he felt in his story combined with ours, are they gonna believe in him enough to really back this thing and support it? Like that's what it comes down to. And so when I talk about a plan of attack, what is he going to do for us? How is he going to help? Because, yeah, his money's in it or his, whatever, you're getting 10% of this thing or whatever percentage, then that comes with a hefty price.
Yeah, most definitely.
So it really comes down to is who we see ourselves as, what do we value our company as? And like I told you guys, man, I see this thing reaching many different continents. And if you can reach just one or two of them continents, you're already looking at $1 billion. If we can take over America, we probably look over $1 billion already. So
I think, and this is just to be honest, I think it's like if you're, I think one state alone, the state of California is it's the beverage state.
Yep.
One state alone, you're already in the talks. I mean, if these other companies are easily doing 30 to 300 million a year, and they're not even in the whole U.S. I think a few states. I really don't think you have to jump to a continent to become a $1 billion corporation, especially if you got 50 of these things. I think that just takes you over the hump. When you say, "Dang, you made it to that next continent," then you're seriously playing with billions. And I know that we have the potential for that. It's just we're still babies. We just got to remember that and know that it's not going to happen overnight. We know that it will take some time. And just this whole thing about the connections that he has and whatnot. A picture, yeah, it says was it 1,000,000 words or 1,000 words or whatever? Yeah, whatever. But at the end of the day, all you getting is likes. All you getting is comments. Oh wow, you got him, you got her. Oh damn. At the end of the day, if we're not, see, my thing is, look, we got accounts that it takes them 2 months or longer to move a couple cases. So if our accounts ain't even just, and we had these pictures of people, NFL players, whatnot, singers, actors, whatever. We have these pictures, but what has it done? It really hasn't done that much. I mean, we still got to go out there and do samplings. Now, when you get to a point where the sampling part is, you don't have to do it as much or as often, then you have something. But until that day comes where all of our accounts are moving product literally and they're ordering monthly orders, then you say, now that's when those connections or whatever, they really played a huge part because they helped build the brand. But once again, we're not moved or fazed by a picture. That's nothing. Anybody could take a picture.
When those connections should have some kind of like for his plan of attack could be we can connect you to this guy and make you a commercial. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as with those using those connections, a part of his on his end would have to be marketing wise, using those connections, making commercials with, say he had that plug to Troy Polamalu, that connection to Troy Polamalu. Well, with that connection, it needs to be like a bit like you said, marketing wise, making a commercial, because there's, like you said, there's no reason to have a connection and all it is we're getting a picture out of it or likes and followers. Like, no, we need generated sales off of these connections that you have by I don't know, setting your plan together to make some type of commercial that advertises us or broadcasts us out there to millions of people with that connection. And that's how it'll turn over into generated sales. And so it's just like I said, it's just having those connections, but uh, no game plan. Because basically through all these people, we're trying to get generated sales. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow, get more people to see our product, get more people to try our product and buy it, and in return it brings us the revenue. And so to do, buy more quantity of it and be able to do what we need to do to pay each other out and get across states, get connected with distribution. And so those connections right there would be like I said, man, 10% is a lot. And man, if you got connections, then we need to know the game plan of the next steps to come with the people that you have lined up.
I think next time you talk to him, Boog, you should ask him that. You know what I mean? What are some of these connections you got? You know, what are some of these big time people that you know? You know, get a list of that shit from him.
But see if he has any ideas. Like, what is his ideas of what he can, like, how he can really help us out? Like, what we got to see if he even looked at our page or whatever and did a little bit of research on us, just like us feeling for him to see if he even is on the same page as us, like has the same vision after doing his research. Because if you're gonna be asking or say, oh, okay, I'm gonna hook you guys up with my connections. I got connections to distribution, connections to celebrities, and I want to invest this amount of money. But then it's really like damn, I got lost. Yeah, never mind, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I look at it like this. I'm more interested in his distribution connections. Like, I'm more interested in how he can help us get into LA area, because once we get in there, it's a wrap. We don't need a celebrity. We go down there and we do exactly what we did in our backyard. We do what we're doing in other parts where we're succeeding at, and that stuff will come easily.
And it's already easy for, with distribution. That's like our biggest thing right there, because like you said, man, it's so easy for us to win accounts. Like, just our personality going in there and doing what we do. It's that easy to win accounts. And like you said, if we get connected with distribution, that's like the biggest thing for us, because there's distribution places that can't even get into some accounts that we're in right now. And so, man, if we can get that would be like the biggest play for us, because along the lines with that, the distribution, we expand, we grow, more people get to touch the product, and then it really opens up the eyes more to the people, and then we might catch celebrities' attention just by off of them seeing it. Now, it's not really out there in other states that people know about it. And so if we get that connection to expand our company, then we can catch the attraction of the attention of celebrities on our own without having any connections to them.
All right, so I got a few questions that you guys brought up. So it says, have you done any research on who we are at Oost Juice LLC? Where do you see yourself in the whole scheme of things? How can you help us get into the LA area with your distribution connections? The next one, what is your plan of using your connections to expose the brand in a major way? And that's the questions that I have, that I heard.
And then you know what too, even by us asking questions like this, it's just gonna show him that, we ain't fucking around, man. We're serious about this, and we hope that you're serious as we are about this, you know what I mean?
Did you have a question on there? What is your vision of what is your vision of like of working with this?
Where do you see yourself in the whole scheme of things?
Oh yeah.
I straight up ask him, what do you think this company is worth? Straight up, like, hey, I mean, what do you think this company is worth? Like, you know, if you, like I said, I explained what I see of us, you know, and I'm talking about billions of dollars reaching different continents, you know, and that comes with a long list of how you get there. But at the end of the day, you know, if I can see it, there's a possibility of us getting there. And, you know, it's a matter of what you guys look at our company as, and, again, what he looks at our company as, because that'll tell us, you know, and it's not something that, you know, I don't expect them to have a, you know, definite answer. Oh, this is the, but I want to just, like we're doing right now, picking each other's brains, trying to see what we think, because, I mean, again, the more we know about somebody, the more insight we get about what they think about our product and why they want to invest with us, you know, what draws them to us. I mean, a lot of those things will tell us the more questions we ask. So.
So you guys got any other questions? I mean, because here goes the thing. He said he was going to give me this address to Troy Polamalu to just send it to his spot. So I'm saying to myself, okay, well, if you give me the address to Troy, and he, you know, because he was just like, have you guys reached out to anybody as far as NFL players and whatever, as far as investment wise? I said, man, we contacted a few people, but you know, probably wasn't for them. And he said, man, I got Troy's address. I'm gonna send it to you so you can send him some product. But that right there just cancels him out the picture, because if Troy wants to invest, there's no need for him. Because that doesn't. Because then, you know, just because of his status already, and we bring that to the table to a distributor, we bring that to the table, you know, to the category buyers and the marketing teams of these retailer establishments, and it's already done. Like, there's no need for him. He's not even going to be. We're not even going to need him in the picture. So that kind of confused me right there. But I'm curious. I was just curious to know why he would throw that out and then still want to, you know, to be a player. As far as I don't know if he was thinking about it when he said, "Oh man, I'll give you his address," and you know, because there's no need for an extra 10 to give up 10%. We would give Troy Polamalu a significant percentage of equity for the backing, obviously. Now, when a person can back millions of dollars, we're gonna easily get to that 100 million mark easily, way faster, especially with a face to it.
Hell yeah, Head and Shoulders.
Yeah. And he brought up the fact that Sal Morewater, they approached The Rock, and they didn't want to give him any equity. That was kind of strange. I was like, dang, who's running this shit? Because that could have easily took them to those those heights that Fiji water is at right now. I'm not sure why they turned that down, but you know, they didn't come correct, and obviously we know that, you know. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys don't have anything else, yeah, definitely pray about it. Definitely keep this on your mind. It's not gonna happen overnight. You know, this, for one, I feel personally that the questions that were asked from his side, it wasn't really anything that told me, oh man, we need to make this decision. This is the one. It wasn't anything like that. It was simple questions that if somebody was really looking to get into this beverage industry, I would really expect some more, some more as far as trying to pick the brain of the guys in behind Oosh Juice. That's what I was expecting. I really didn't get any of that. It was pretty much the typical questions. I really gave them everything that from my end as far as the insight that I felt that I should give, what we're trying to do here. But other than that, if it was real live potential investor, I think that it would have been a lot more things thrown at me which weren't. And who knows? I mean, I don't know if he's gotten to a position where he's in a place where, oh man, I want to try and start investing into things. This could be my first investment that I win. And I know this thing has that kind of feel to it. So who knows what's going on in his mind and what he sees and what he thinks. But he could be young too, as far as the investment game is concerned. And personally, I mean the connections alone. The connections, it cancels him out all the way. And that's how I'm looking at it. Because if one of these guys want to go at it, he's really not even in the picture anymore. And so I'm really trying to figure out, like I said, man, we want to know how do you fit into this thing, if you fit in at all. I mean, because what you're offering, yeah, it's a lot of value, but at the same time, it could easily just put you to the side, and now it's us and whoever else that has everything that we're looking for, that we know that could take us there.
I think you could ask him too if this is something you're like you really want to sit down and try to work through, like how much money is he willing to invest? Because if you get a number out of him, then that tells you that he has money and he's not banking off of his connections. Just like you said, if we get linked up with his connection, then he's out the window. Like there's really no need for him anymore. So he has to be thinking of some number that he wants to bring to the table to really get his 10%. Because, like you said, if you connect us to one of those guys, they got the real money. How much money do you really have, like, that you're willing to play with to really make something happen in this company?
My friend is here.
What?
My friend is here.
Would you want to ask him a question like that too? Like, what kind of money are you really talking about investing? You know what I mean?
Well, it's just a question. Like, if you want to do business and you're trying to, you trying to get 10%, like, what is a number in your head that you're thinking about investing? Because, like you said, he's trying to be the one to get the 10%. There's got to be a number that he had in his head already that he was ready to put up. Because if you give us these connections and they're the ones that want to take it, then you're gone. Like, there's no need for you no more. Now your 10% is going to go to this person even more money because they can bring more to the table now. So he has to have like a set number in his head that he's willing to work with or to bring to the table, and for him asking for 10%.
Yeah, most definitely.
What is our number? Do we have a number that we are willing to give up that 10% for? You know what I mean? Between us seven?
Like I said, you ain't getting away no less than 100K. There's no way we're going to be giving up 10% for anything less. It's just too much.
So nothing less than 100K automatically then?
Yeah, because if we're already talking about we value our company at $1 billion, and yeah, it may be kind of a stretch for the naked eye or somebody's belief right now because we only got 100 accounts and we only touched 100K. So it's a stretch because you got 900K just to get to $1 million, and then you got to go from there to get to the billion. So, but on top of that, we already know that the potential of this, because everybody somebody wants a drink, and why not Oosh Juice? You know, us having that mentality and knowing that, dang, not only do we have a solid product, it tastes good, but we got that message behind it that really packs a punch, and people are really buying into that, and more people will when they hear our story. We got all of this to add to the table, so it just wouldn't make any sense if he threw out something that's silly like 25K when we just spent 26K on this production run, and we're about to spend like 27K on this production run. So that's that right there, and like Mick said, he already had a number in his mind. He just didn't throw it out there. He's waiting for us to ask. So it wouldn't. We're not trying to beat around the bush. Neither should he. And he should already know what the business is. Like, hey, this is what I want to put up, and it should make enough sense where he feels confident that, man, I'm putting this up for 10% because I know what's to come out of this 10%. It's going to be that trip to the islands and me setting up a family. That's what I'm looking for at the end of the day. So he wouldn't. I really feel that he wouldn't have just threw that out there if he didn't have something, you know, for a rainy day, just waiting for this opportunity or this moment. He has to have something serious because just to understand, like us personally, we know that, okay, 100K, it's not really nothing. It's pennies in the beverage industry. We're looking at, nigga, we need $500,000. We need 250K to $500,000 to really start not only manufacturing, producing quantities that, okay, now we don't have to wait no more about product running low. We can open up 150 to 100 counts in a month, going at it like that, and then just taking it like that. Man, he's got to understand. I don't know if he does, but he will understand that, hey, man, it's going to take some serious dough. Because if people like Kobe and them are investing millions and millions of dollars up in and getting 10%, what do you think, you know, your little 25 or whatever, if he was even thinking that, is going to do? That's not worthy enough for 10%. Not in our books, when we already know. We've been reading up on these beverage companies and what they're able to do, and even Kevin Durant, he just did a thing with the sparkling ice.
Yeah, sparkling ice. I seen that shit.
So it could easily, like I'm saying, man, these guys with the money, he links us up. Troy Polamalu, he could easily say, man, you know what? I want to put $5 million up right now for 10% or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. He has to have some kind of substantial amount of money that he's willing to go play for, because now it's him on the line too. Shit, this is 10% of my company. Shit, I gotta make.
He don't want to not do his part and flop on us.
Yeah.
Now that you flop on us, you lost out on your money too, because that's 10% of what you was finna get. So it got to be some like guaranteed, like I said, and he has to. I know he has the number because he wouldn't have been asking for 10% off top. Like,
yeah. He would ask for something smaller because then, I mean, when you ask for something smaller, you're saying to yourself, okay, I have a number in my head, but I'm going to bank on selling these guys all my connections real tough because those connections add up so much value to the number that I have, which I'm feeling that, okay, this is what I can win on. Like us personally, we're not trying, our wholesaling is, we're selling people on ourselves in our concept, our message. We're selling, that's how people got invested into this thing. It's because of that belief right there. We were able to sell them on that. And once you're able to do that, now I was reading this article about the Shark Tank and how they were doing. I mean, there's like so many things in this article that really put things in perspective. Like some of the things that we don't know, like the lady Linda, is her name Linda? Let me just check it out real quick. But yeah. So here, the article that I came across. I'll just read a CERN. The article that I came across is just giving some insight on who these VCs are and how not everything appears as it seems. So that the lady in the Barbara Corcoran, on the show, it says they introduced her as her taking $1,000 loan and turned it into a real estate empire worth hundreds of millions. Except she sold her hundreds of millions company for only 60 million. So that right there, they stretched the truth, and it wasn't. They didn't give the exact truth. I should say they lied. Not to say that she's not successful and smart, but that's what they were saying. Yeah, they stretched that out, and then they talked about Kevin O'Leary, which is the guy with the bald head. But they used him, and they said his thing was that where was it? Oh yeah, his thing was that he built a software company from his garage and sold it for 3.7 billion. That's true. He built the learning company and sold it to Mattel. What they don't say is how much he owned of it. So we can estimate his worth. He clearly made some money on it, but he bought hundreds of companies first. So each company, assuming it was bought in part for stock, diluted his share. So his stake might have been tiny. And then Mattel repeatedly missed their earnings estimates because of the acquisition of this company. In fact, the acquisition has been described as one of the worst acquisitions in history in various articles about it. But fair enough, Kevin turned this success into having a role at a venture capital firm. I'm guessing it's his firm's money rather than his personal money, which he uses when writing checks on the show. So that's they went in to even say that every case he went through the exercise with each shark, and in every case it was not how they described it on the show. And the only person that was excluded from this was Mark Cuban, because he really does have that money, and he really built up his net worth to where it's at today. And so everybody else, it was kind of stretched. Another thing is, once again, like I told you guys, we're selling people on the dream, and in ourselves, we're living the dream. That's what it is. We're not trying to sell people on sales. Okay, yeah, we did 100K, but that doesn't mean anything. If from our standpoint, we're saying to these guys that want to come into play, we're saying, hey, look at what we've been able to do because we dared to turn a dream into reality. Now, who knows in the grand scheme of things what this really means? Because in our circles or in our lives, we don't know anybody else who's done what we've done. But it's a big world. It's a big planet. There's probably people that have done way better. And we know, for instance, that one drink on Shark Tank where the lady, she wanted 250K in exchange for 15% equity, but she had Brandon Jacobs as the face pretty much. She had over 3,000 accounts in, I believe it was 90 days or something like that. She had the distribution connections. They did way better than we did in 12 months. In the short time frame that they're in business. But as far as us, without anything, out any connections, just going at it, yeah, we can honestly say, man, who else has done it like us? Who knows? I mean, but in our world, nobody has done it like us. So that's selling the dream. We're making moves because we're selling this concept of dare to turn your dream into reality. We're just the average Joes that still carry the jobs and whatnot, and we're still making this thing happen. Now we can, the whole point I'm getting at is what they say is don't sell the dream and not the sales. We're not concerned about the sales. More people are going to fall for you because of what your talk track is. What inspired you to get to this point? They're going to fall for that before they fall for the numbers. Because just like we've seen in Shark Tank, you can have 1 million in sales and still not get the deal, and you can have 0 sales and get a great deal. But that's what they were talking about there. And I just wanted to bring that up real quick, just to because I did go in and I was just trying to understand what is a good exchange of value for giving up so much equity. especially when you go on these shows and they're asking for 10, 15, and then the sharks try to get up more. We want 20, we want 30%. So, I mean, I'll go back to him and see what he's talking about. I'll bring up all these questions that were brought to the table and see what he says. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make a move, and whoever is there willing to help and can help, and they see themselves really a part of this, that's the boat we're trying to be in. Those people that are the new school entrepreneurs that want to make a way, that aspire to bring change. That is the group that we want to be in, or in the circles, in the communities. That's who we want to associate ourselves with because of the network and positivity and what it can bring and what it will bring. But other than that, man, continue to stay updated with your cheat sheets and your product knowledge. Because every day that you're not going out there and sampling and that you're not refreshing yourself about what the processes are of servicing accounts, it's been a while. And these are stories that I've heard, from Pizzo. Man, I felt weird going out there, and it was different because I haven't done it in so long. And I said, oh, dang. I had to really wake my game up and say, man, I've done this before. Or even Geller. When he went out and did a sampling with Will in Santa Cruz, he said, man, I felt alive again. It was so long that I haven't done a sampling event, and I got caught up in my words, and I was talking about you want to try sample of orange juice, and I had to correct myself, and I'm like, what the orange juice? But these little things of him going through that experience, and then even Will just laughing at him and just getting over the hump, like, oh man, let me snap out of it. I know this shit, I know it, and then getting into a roll, like going into a roll. Oh shit, well, here goes one sold there, that another one, and it just happens like that. But that's the importance of us staying on top of things, because if we're not out there, we easily lose it. I've witnessed it personally. I've witnessed it on multiple occasions with pretty much all of you guys, where you guys just saying things that, oh man, what the hell? So I know the feeling of if we're not on top of those things, what could happen, and that's why if we don't stay on top of it, then we'll see a real lack in what we're trying to do here. If we stay on top of it, then we'll see increases, continued growth, continued expansion. And that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. That's the value that we bring to this organization. Everyone plays a huge role into our success and how far we can go. And that's why people want a piece of this, believe it or not. They want a piece of this because we're laying the proper foundation for a company. And they see, oh, if these guys are doing this right now, maybe if I put my 2 cents in, I can, not only with their systems and how they got things going, I can make change too. I can help them grow this thing into even something that's out of this world. And I know that's what they see, and it's just finding that right person to fit into this whole thing. But with that being said, man, that's pretty much it for Wednesday. I really just wanted to talk about those things. Also, I almost forgot the goals. When we're talking about coming with three to 5 goals, as far as what you feel is important for us as a company, not personal goals, but business goals that we would like to implement or attack. And just for example, for us as sales, we want to do a few things. We want, obviously, growth and expansion that comes to the table all the time. But the other thing that we want to do is get half of our locations, or even all locations, getting them to that level of 10+1. Getting them in the habit, and we know what we have to do. We just have to implement it. Now, how do we implement it? Well, scheduling is very key. S knows so much about this, and I would pick his brain for you guys in sales because he deals with it. And that's something that we've been talking about from the gate. If we have a schedule set, we're saying, okay, this region, this day is yours. and next we're going here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If we have these things set up, then there's no more excuses of, oh man, I was over here and I went over there. No, I didn't do anything, because it's right in front of our faces. And we need to have something like that so that we could say to ourselves, you know what, Monday came and Monday went, and you know what, Monterey was taken care of. Tuesday came and Tuesday went, and you know what, Salinas was taken care of. Whatever the case may be, having a schedule set in place, it allows us as a company to be more efficient. If S didn't have a schedule set in place, how the hell would he have 30 to 35 employees? It's just not possible, because you got all these accounts, and if you ain't staffed properly, if you're not communicating, hey, today is your day with these employees, there's no way he would be running an effective and efficient business in security. It's not possible. And that's why it's important that we have schedules set in place, because we all need to follow a certain guideline. You know, and every business has it. We could look at what we're doing right now, and we could say, okay, our employer is saying that I work today from 9 to 3 or 1 to 10 or whatever. I'm just throwing out there, but we look at those things and we say to ourselves, there's a reason why they have those things, and it's because it makes them efficient. It makes them effective at running their organization and their business more. It makes them more functionable, and it keeps them going where they don't have to be there 24/7, making sure that things are running smoothly. No, they set these things up for a reason, and that's why we need it. We need it personally, and that's why even with marketing and sampling and understanding what establishments really need to go at it, because if we're so into our company like that, where we're saying to ourselves, why is it taking so long to move a case here? We need to be able to call these people first off a week. And this is what we're going to be doing in sales. But once we open up a new account and we drop off whatever is there, we need to be able to communicate effectively with these establishments. Just, hey, I'm checking in. I just wanted to know, how things are going, how product is moving, because if nothing moves in a week, we need a sampling that week. We need to go and hit them up, because that right there shows that we care about our product. That right there tells the retailer, oh, these guys weren't just talking when they said, we don't want the product to sit, we want it to move, and move fast. By us not communicating, not going back there, that shows them, oh, they're just like everybody else. They got my little $24.60 and got on. We don't want the we want the $24.60, but we want more of that. And how do we do that? By implementing those two things: calling these establishments and checking them more often than not. I mean, because if we're not, we know what happens. Doors get closed on us, and that's pretty much it. We got to go looking for new houses, places to put our product in and run this thing. Those are what we want to work on. But once again, it's business goals that you feel personal about and passionate, that you want to within the next 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. It's only 3 to 5 goals that you feel that if you were to put in place or want to attack at this moment, it would affect or it would bring so much change in our business that will get us to another step, a lot quicker, whether it's in marketing, distribution, or sales. A lot of this has to do, what I mentioned, it has to do with sales, because sales keeps the lights on. Now, what we have in marketing, it could be whole different. Okay, we want to do a better job at bringing more people into our website. How are we going to do that? Well, we talked about this early on. SEO. What do we need to spend on getting this organic traffic to check us out, because we are headed into that phase where we open up this online store? What do we need to do to make sure that we're prepared and we're getting the necessary traffic to get that extra 100K here through this stream of revenue? I mean, this is just examples being thrown out there for us to understand and realize if we don't have a plan, we don't know where we're going. Now, if everybody has, we all have different thinking, ways of thinking, and what we want to do, and that was the whole purpose of bringing this to the table, because I really wanted to see what was coming out of your guys' minds and what you guys really thought about that could help us out as far as business is concerned, and get us to that next stage or next step in the process. That's what this was all about. Because coming up on, going into this year too, it's a sophomore year, and what they talk about sophomore, a lot of, like, for the music industry, they talk about the sophomore slump. We don't want a sophomore slump. We want our sophomore year to outshine our freshman year. And that's just like if we were like in football and sports in high school. Every year we got better. We said, man, we don't want to be on JV no more. We want to be on varsity. We don't want to just be on varsity. We want to start. We want to be the best player at our position. That's how we have to look at it. That's why it's important for every one of us to have a goal, have a plan behind that goal, so that whoever is calling out the shots is saying, okay, this is what we need. When, and here goes the plan behind it. When, and we attack it, and what happens? We know what happens when we follow the rules, when we follow our plan. We start knocking off them goals. We didn't just get to 72K. We did it because we had a plan. We said, this is what we're going to do. This is how much product we need to sell. This is how many doors we need to get into. I mean, we broke that shit down to the T, where we said, okay, retailers, direct-to-consumer, online. We have all of that shit, and we still have that shit in our sales plan. But that's the only way we were able to get there, because we had shit in front of us telling us, hey, man, this is what you need to do. And we didn't even exploit the online. We raked all that in from majority of retailer, and then some of it partial direct-to-consumer. So that's what I'm talking about. If we look back at our history in our young entrepreneurial lives, what we've put together, and I'm talking about all the PowerPoints, the sales plans, the marketing plans, whatever the case may be, we look back to that and we use that, and we're saying to ourselves, okay, what do we want to do now? Okay, we've seen this and we've done it, we've accomplished it. Now, what makes the most sense for 3 months from here? What do we want to do that's going to say to ourselves, like for us personally in marketing, what are we going to do to get our social media to a level that we're saying, dang, it's no longer 300-400 likes, but now it's 500-600 likes. We have more engagement. What are we going to do to say, okay, no longer is it a couple followers here or there, but we're getting thousands of followers. What are those things that is going to help us to do those things? You know what I mean? And then even in distribution, we talk about this all the time. Are we making enough calls? Are we contacting enough people? Who are we contacting? What are we saying? Okay, are we sending enough product out? These are the things that I look at, and I'm telling myself, and I'm saying, what if we all just figured it out? Like, I mean, not figured it out, but if we all just figured it out in our mind and ourselves on what position that we play and how we want to, are we really going to play this position? And we say to ourselves, I really want to play now. I really want to step up to the challenge and step up to the plate, and I want to do my part. Guess what happens? We're reaching out to more. Everything, when you reach out to more, what happens? More doors get open, because the numbers. It's a numbers game, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for what really stands out to you that we can do, that I may have not seen from what I'm, from my perspective, but from a sales, distribution, marketing so far. What are the things that we look forward to that are the most, that can be and will be the most impactful for our company with these 3 to 5 goals that we're going to break down from 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months. What are those goals that we're looking for? And that's what I wanted to bring up as well, because I know a lot of you guys missed it for the past weeks, whatever. And so now that we're on live and we're recording this, I wanted to bring that to you guys' light and attention of what we need. And this was due last week, Friday. last week Friday, and it was me, Ray, and Will on that conversation. Uh, and I know a lot of things have been happening, and but once again, I need to know these things from you guys personally.
Hey, Boog, I was talking to one of the managers from fucking Couch. You know, he had tasted. I guess he was one of the guys that tasted it or something. I think when we sent or said he had tasted it, and I was giving him a little rundown on what we're doing. And one thing he told me, he's like, one thing that you guys should do, continue to do, is focus on chain stores, mainstream stores, chain stores. He said because the chain stores will get you more exposure. He said you gotta look at it like chevrons. He said, man, try to get into chevrons. He's like, try to get into shells. I was like, we're in about 11 shells. He's like, continue to do that, like mainstream and chain stores, because he said that your chances of getting noticed are a lot bigger because you figure more people go into those type of stores than they go into mom and pop spots. You know what I mean? But that was one little thing he just told me. He's like, man, whatever you guys do, just focus on chain stores. Chain stores and more and mainstream stores that are well known. He said if you continue just to knock on, bug them, he said eventually they're just gonna be like, okay, fuck it, we'll take you guys on. But he's just like, that was one little advice he gave me. He was like, man, just tell you and your brothers just focus on chain stores for now. He said that'll help you guys get somewhere bigger.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the second person who said that. If you guys recall when I was talking to Cheryl a couple weeks back, and that's what she said. Kind of pull the reins back on these moms and pop stores and whatnot, and go after the distributors, go after these larger retailers, because in the end, yeah, it's cool to get in the hood, the local spots. Everyone we know are the people that we can relate to the most. That's where they're going, to the little hood spots. But in the end, we want to get this thing to the masses, and that's where, for me personally, it's okay. Yeah, I can. It's hard for me because we don't have the manpower, and then that's why I need Ray to step into this position real tough, because when I'm out there in the field, I can't make no calls to distributors and retailers and, hey, what's going on? I'm out there trying to do what we need to do to keep these doors open. And so that's why I said if we play our parts better, if we play our parts and we're more effective, that allows the functionality of this business to grow, or allows this business to grow, and allows us to be more functional. But if we're not, then it's, once again, the workload on one person. We're not gonna be able to get there to where we want to be as quickly. It will take us a lot longer because there's just not everyone's not playing their position the way they're supposed to be playing. But we definitely need to, like, even with the shells that aren't in the chain, we're in what, 3 different types of 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 other shells besides the 11. The shells that are in that other chain with Jerry Anderson, that's one that we want to attack too, and we will. We got the okay or to just go push up on the one in Watsonville, and I want to find out where all his other establishments are, because if we got in 2 already, I look to exploit the whole chain and get into that, and then if Ray Ray does his part better, which is reaching out, with distribution. I know he's in distribution, and but still, he has time on his hand. So if he's able to reach out to different locations and retailers and get the information that we need, that's going to help us, and we definitely need that. And so, yeah, this year too is all about we're still gonna get to the moms and pops, but for the most part, we're gonna be going after these mainstream stores a lot more, especially because 7-Eleven, we're almost coming up around that time, come August, September, to where we find out, are we on the recommended items list? And once we get on there, we already know, man. Every 7-11 doors is getting knocked on, and we getting our product up in there, and we gonna be running some things like real deal, because that's just where it's gonna go from here. So it's not by coincidence that guy had mentioned it too. It makes sense, and that's what we want to do. But everyone good on this one?
Sure.
All right, cool. So just an update. We're looking at August 8th once again for our next production run, and the reason why we decided to do 3,750 gallons is because me and S talked about this already. Want to bring it to the table for you guys. We're not trying to put ourselves in a position where we can't where we hurt ourselves. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we want to do the largest run that they have, but we just don't have the capital to do that. We don't have the luxury to do that. Everything that we have, we want to be smart about what we're doing here, and that's why it's still another step in the right direction. Where we've moved up. We've went from 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000. Now we're gonna go to 3,750. So it's another step in the right direction. And this is how I want you guys to look at everything. Every time we get to a higher level of production run, look at the previous run, and you're saying, like this previous run, it yielded us 1524. We got 90 cases altogether of that 1524, and they're gonna go. They're gonna go because these stores need deliveries. So look at that and say, wow, we got off that much. Now we're going to the next level. We want to get off this 1923. That's almost 2,000 cases. Once we get off that, we're saying, oh dang, we did it. Now we want to get to the next level, and I believe that that's the reason why this is a part of our journey, because it's there to not only keep us focused and keep us on track and and whatnot, but it's there to show us that, hey, everything in life is a process. You're gonna continue to climb this staircase until you get to the top floor. You're not just gonna get on to the top floor and everything's gonna be fine and dandy. No, I need you guys to take the stairs. The elevator is there, but you're going to take the stairs, and you're going to feel these stairs. And that's what we're doing. And I want you guys to be proud of that, because I don't want this to be easy for us. By no way. I mean, yeah, sitting on the beach with a Mai Tai under the sun, that's all gravy, but the experience that I want us to go through and I want us to appreciate, that's what I look for in the end results, because when we do get to where we're going, that story is going to be so effective to somebody that needs it. And they're going to cherish that, what we give them. The insight, the understanding, the knowledge, the value of what we have from this experience, we're going to pass it along to somebody one day, and somebody's going to really take that to heart and build their company or build their dream or go after their dream, whatever. They're going to say it was because of us. And so I find it, and me personally, I find that this is God's way of saying that I got you guys, but it's not just going to come easily. It's simple, but it isn't easy. You know what I mean? Keep on working at it. Keep on grinding. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm going to continue to do my part and open up doors. You just got to continue to knock on them. You just got to continue to be faithful with what you guys got going on. Continue to be diligent. Continue to be responsible, because it could easily, if we weren't responsible with what we were doing, there's no way we would have gotten this far. We would have blew off all the tens of 20s of 30s of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars we made. We'd have blew that all off if we weren't responsible. But he likes what he's seeing here, and we just got to continue to do it more and more of it. And that's what I say to all you guys is, just continue to do your part. I mean, we need to get better at some things, and take some more responsibility. But at the end of the day, you know, it, enjoy this, learn from it, and take away everything that you can because it will help somebody. Trust and believe that. And the person that I wanted to help the most is you. You know, I want this journey to help me the most to get to where I'm going, and I really hope that you guys see it the same way. Uh, but that's why we decided on 3750 for this next production run. Once again, it's 400 more cases than our previous production run. Hopefully, we could get everything here by August 8th. When August 8th comes, now the challenge is to go get 200 accounts, 100 more accounts. I would say, see, it depends. We'll figure it out. But you know, we always do the 50, you know, 150, 200. But I just feel that 1,900 cases, it should be efficient enough to go after that 200 accounts. But that's what I'm looking at, and with that comes a lot more responsibility because once again, if we're not doing samplings, 200 accounts doesn't mean nothing. You know, it doesn't. So we have to have those schedules set up in place where we need to do those things. Now, the accounts that have more traffic, obviously, we have some leeway with them because they got people on the inside pushing for us. But the other accounts, that's where we need to be more effective and doing these samplings day in and day out to get to those points. And that's where scheduling comes along. So sales, that's a challenge to you guys. You just gotta, it's simple. To be honest, nothing has to be perfect or, you know, it's just writing down so everyone knows, hey man, this is what you have to do today. If you want our company to succeed, and you gotta get out there because we're just, to be honest, we're wasting time. We're looking at it from this perspective. This is how I see it. Because of the fact that if we don't get out there and we can get out there, we're not only giving those retailers some ammunition against us, but we're taking a risk at those doors closing, and it sucks when doors close because that's money that we could have been still bringing in. Now, some of these accounts, it wasn't our fault. It was really these retailers that didn't want to deal with us. But at the same time, those ones that we really feel that we can do some things. Those are the ones that we want to focus on and continue to keep on being in their face, so that we can get to those levels of 10+1 regularly within a month or 3 or 2. So that's what my challenge is to you guys. Have those things ready next week, this week. I mean, we still got a couple days here. I've been pretty busy on the back end with everything. I just want to let you guys know with ordering process, and so that's why I have. And then plus we're pretty low on products. I just don't want to show up and then we're just completely out. I really want to stretch it these last 3 weeks what we have on hand, just so we can make it for that production run, and we don't have the issues that we did last time with having to buy back so much product just to service accounts, because it's not good when you're making $30 off of 11 case delivery or whatever the case may be. Whatever we made on it is not good. So that's my mentality with this last stretch of the cases in these 3 weeks. But other than that, man, get those goals together. Like real deal, Friday. Let me see what you guys got. For those of you guys that didn't do it, let me see what you guys got on Friday. And those other guys that aren't here, hopefully they're going to be here on Friday so they can run it again. They put together some PowerPoints and of what they wanted to achieve within this time frame, and so we'll run it again because that it wasn't recorded, and then even Pi threw out an email there too, with some of the things that he had wanted to do. And business, remember, it's business. So I don't want to hear, oh man, I want to try to make every meeting, because that's personal. We already know that. Oh, I want to do this, or that's those little things. Yeah, we know those things, but we want to focus on the business goals. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it. anybody else has anything to say, feel free. If not, we get on our separate ways. Cool. Let me end it out here in prayer, and then we go. So, Father, Lord, coming in prayer, Lord, I thank you for another opportunity to come together midweek session, Work Hard Wednesday. We're just a couple, I shouldn't say couple, but we're just 7 average Joe Usos going after something that really means something to us. We're daring to turn a dream into reality because everybody says that, dreams are just when you go to sleep. So many people doubt that this is possible, but yet we believe. We believe because you believed in us first, and we believe in ourselves because you give us a confidence, you guide and direct our steps, and you say, you know what, son, just keep on chipping away at it. Just keep on taking step after step, and I promise you, you will get to your promised land because I already guaranteed it. My words are 100 official. I don't need to say anything else. When I say it's done, it's done. And we believe that with all our hearts, Lord. And that's why we go so hard. That's why we do what we do on our end, because of what you have given us and the opportunities. Not only are we blessed one business, we have 2 businesses that are thriving and successful. And we tend to not shine the light on our other business and security, but at the end of the day, we have to. I mean, because there's so many lessons and things that we can learn from that experience and what's going on in those operations that we can use right here for the little baby. And we're both in our infancy stages. We only just did 1 year. We got a long way to go, but this is what I love to see. When you have such success in one family, I mean, that speaks volumes of who is looking down at us, and who is overseeing this whole thing. I mean, I really appreciate what you've done for us and what you continue to do, and that's why we are who we are today, and why we continue to push and drive this train, or this bus, whatever you want to call it. And so I just ask, Lord, that you continue to give us the strength, because it is a heavy load. This isn't easy, and I know that for us that are at the top and we're leading the pack, myself and S, and I know it's a lot, and it strains so much. It takes so much out of you, and you say, man, how can I find that? How can I muster up the strength to go another day? And we just pray and we give it all to you, and you give us that opportunity for another 24 to go at it strong and to keep on pounding the pavement and doing what we have to do to become successful, to become the greatest version of oneself. And that's why we give everything to you day and night, and we say to ourselves, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in this position. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be blessed. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have the courage to go out when everybody else says it's not possible. You say it's possible through me. So, Lord, with everything that is going to come to us, we receive it. We embrace it. We accept the challenge. And we thrive because we know who sent us. As we go on our separate ways, Lord, I ask that you be with us and our families. Be with Ray and them up there as they're dealing with a tragedy in Seattle right now. And I pray for the family and everybody that's going through it right now with the loss of a loved one. We know how it feels, and it's nothing to take lightly. And so I ask that you continue to be their rock and in this hard time. And then all of us down here in Frisco and wherever else we may be with us throughout the rest of the night. We love you, Lord. We give you all the praise, glory, and honor, for you're worthy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Sir.